Hello, I'm Lisa Bowerman and I play Bernie Summerfield, and welcome to Audio Heads Podcast.
Welcome to Audio Heads, a Geeks Assemble podcast where we discuss the audio adventures of various kinds. This week we're going back to Torchwood. Torchwood, the spin-off from Doctor Who, which stars Bern Gorman and, of course, John Barrowman and Eve Miles and Kai Owen and a bunch of other people. Yeah, it's too cool for words. It's too cool for school. And this one was called The Corpse Day because it's getting towards Halloween. And this is Friday the 13th. And we should discuss something really creepy. And this has got it. This is creepy, all right. And it's very timely. So I just was curious what you thought of this thing. Let's start with Lee Wilson, please. What did you think of Corpse Day?
Corpse Day, this is the second time I've listened to this. I listened to it the first time I got the old CD. I loved it. I thought it's very close to what's been going on in the world. Things have happened like this in certain countries. People in cellars, families created by, the jailer and stuff like that. I love this one. It's dark. It's very dark. And Ben Gorman in this, I can't see any other member of the Torchwood team being the lead in this story. It's Owen Harper's story. I can't see Captain Jack being in this. I can't see Eve Miles playing in this story. I think was written for him, to be honest. It's wonderfully acted, and it does make you go, ooh. So I enjoyed it. Yeah, I may give this another listen in maybe a couple of months' time when I'm feeling a bit down. So over to you, Susan.
Thank you. And Jeffrey, Beef Dad, what did you think about this, the Corpse Day?
There were some funny moments, oddly enough. Yes, it is very dark, but there were some funny moments to sort of relieve the tension. Yeah, Bern Gorman playing Owen Harper, brilliant. And he's teamed up with the policeman, and they're checking in to disappearances, missing, presumed dead. Which is probably why it's called Corpse Day. They're looking for these girls that have all disappeared, and as Leah said, some of them are locked up in the cellar. Some of them have been eaten by basically they were the first creatures on Torchwood, the Weevils. And there's a Weevil in this called Sunny, who is half human, apparently. And he's being used to breed with these girls. These girls have been brainwashed by this mad old Welshman, and it's really scary in places. It really is very, very creepy, and I absolutely loved it. That's me for the minute.
Thanks. And Tim, what did you think of this?
I thought it was pretty good. When I first heard the title, I was afraid it was going to be a story about zombies. I'm relieved that it wasn't, because I just find that really boring at this point. And I like the fact that they call it Corpse Day. What they really mean is cold case files that they're working on, and how more often than not they just don't do anything and blame it on the rift, which I thought was pretty cool. It's good to have Vern Gorman back for a story. He's somebody that pretty much got written out at the end of series 2 and never returned. And he was always an interesting character. Like the actor says in the extras, he's always a bit of an asshole. But he's an interesting character. And it's interesting that they pair him with the Gwen's old sidekick, the policeman. And they have a pretty cool story. I thought it could have been better, though. I think some of the, like Beef Dad said, the humor was good. The banter between the two. The cast was good. But I think some of the direction was a bit poor in some of the later scenes when it was all, finishing up. But that's something that could have probably been fixed with editing. I don't know. The story was interesting too. I don't know. Torchwood has never really been my favorite spinoff. I mean, it's about 10 years old now, and there's a lot less good than there is good. Torchwood, I think with Children of Earth was the peak of how good it could get, and that they've never really got that far again. And as far as audio goes, it's a good spooky story. It doesn't outstay its welcome, but I don't know. I think it could have been better.
All right, thank you. And Alex, what did you think of the Corpse Day?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of Torchwood either. But I mean, it was well acted. It was well written. Of course, it added to the scariness and the creepiness, not only the kidnapper and not only the fact that it's sort of Stockholm syndrome, but the yelling and the screaming and all that. And I didn't, that also started to annoy me. But I mean, I've seen a lot of other darker shows on TV, Cracker from the 90s and other shows like that, even though the Omega Factor is probably a little bit creepier than this. But it's not that easy to watch everywhere. It was well acted. They probably could have improved a few things. I mean, I don't know if they did that on purpose, that they didn't get into detail as to how he was able to get away with it or why he was able to have so many women there or whatever. But, I mean, in a way, maybe I don't want that much detail because I didn't really want to hear that story. Unfortunately, the news this year on most fronts has been kind of creepy like this. And natural disasters and all these other weird occurrences going on. So I'm not sure if it was resolved. I mean, did people feel like it was resolved or?
That's a good question. Did you guys think it got resolved? Let's start with Tim. What'd you think?
Yeah, it did. It had an ending to it. And it was pretty much status quo. The Torchwood boys went on their way and left the new weird family in the sewer where they belong, probably. I'm just saying, they resolved the issue. I mean, I guess that family's going to live there down where they belong and can raise their little mutant baby and I don't know. Maybe they'll follow up on it later when he's an adult or something.
Lee, did you think it got resolved?
As Tim said, the two Torchwood guys went on their way, left the family there. They didn't need anybody else's help. They were just going to carry on, look after the baby. We may revisit it in a few years' time, you never know, but I thought it was a good resolve. Every story doesn't have to be in-your-face resolve. So this one, it worked well for me.
And Beef Dad, what'd you think? Did it get resolved?
Well, I can understand leaving the mutant family there and the girls and Sonny, their Weevil. I would have been a lot happier if something really unpleasant had happened to the old Glyn, the old man. Because the thing is, he basically carried on doing what he'd done before, and I don't
No,
like the
no,
idea of that.
didn't he get Ed?
Yeah, Sonny ate him.
I must
Have
have
you,
missed that.
have you been listening to the right story?
Oh, yeah, yeah. My trouble was just a crucial moment. The doorbell rang.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did listen to the right story, but it did turn out that Sonny, the Weevil, ate his captor.
Oh well, that's good then. In that case, I can live with that. Um,
And
uh,
the family
although,
began to come together at that
yeah,
around the kid.
yeah. Well, after oh, after the delivery scene, oh, that was something. Yeah, lots of loud screaming and everything. It sounded awfully like someone giving birth, I must confess. Um, but after she'd given birth to the baby, when he turns around to Sonny the mutant, the Weevil, and says, "Would you like to bite the umbilical cord?" And I thought, well, that's pretty gross. But yeah, there was some brilliant moments in it.
Okay, the floor is open. Anybody say anything about any of these scenes or any of the favorite parts or icky parts or whatever?
Yeah,
Well,
go through the hole in the floor.
but I've stop it, beef dad. But but I like Owen Harper's thing. The character, he's dead. He can't eat anymore. He can't have sex anymore. All like this, and so if they wanted to, he couldn't reproduce. So it would have been down to PC Andy in these bands of this to reproduce with these women and Sonny. It just, and the comedy is there, as Beef Dad said, with the giving birth when Harper says about, I saw a woman push out ping pong balls, so giving birth is going to be. That just reminded me of a Carrie action spin, but I won't go there.
I thought it was interesting how they gave you a sort of political choice, which is something that's discussed quite a bit nowadays, where they have to decide whether or not to kill the infant, because and how the positions they took on it. Owen ends up being the pro-life guy because not only is he a doctor, but he's dead. And since he's been dead, it's giving him a different viewpoint on how life is very precious and how you shouldn't kill anything willy-nilly. And whether it be a mutant creature or not, and how Andy has the opposite approach because he doesn't want this thing that he sees as abhorrent to be born. So that was an interesting twist on things, although it went very quickly. But it was an odd thing for them to discuss. They had to discuss it, and of course they're overheard by the other people, so it ends up getting them in trouble. But I thought that was an interesting story.
Yeah. What about that the decision that they made to keep to let the baby live? I mean, they basically were killing weevils throughout or sending them back to the rift throughout the whole of Torchwood. So what did you think of their decision making?
Well, that was interesting. I think they made the right choice. You never kill anything just because you don't understand it. I mean, even though it might have been evil what the family was doing, I just thought it would have been right to kill the infant. So.
Well, yeah, the baby was an innocence in the story. You couldn't put any blame on the baby. So it was all down to the captor. It was all.
And it's a perfect lead character when it's grown up for another story, because you then got a weevil that is half human, and perhaps you've got a weevil that can speak.
maybe you've got a Weevil what could join the Torchwood team.
Possibly, yeah. There's many interesting possibilities that can follow on from this.
Yeah, that would be fun to have a Weevil and the Torchwood team. But the Torchwood team now is just like, isn't it just Jack and Gwen, right? And
No. The season 5 Torchwood Aliens Among Us. There's a new team.
All right. Well, I gotta listen to that.
Yeah, it's but you've got Jack and you've got Gwen, but you've got other new characters joining the team.
Mm-hmm.
What are they gonna have? Are they gonna have Torchwood? When did that come out? In 2006? 2006 or 2016?
It's a new audio box set, I believe.
Right. No, I understand that, but I'm saying. Go ahead.
The new audio box set's out. It's out now.
Yeah. Okay, but the TV version came out in 2006, and then that was 4 seasons or 5 seasons, or was it 6?
4.
No, Miracle Day was what? Miracle Day was what season?
4.
4th. Okay, so 4 seasons.
4th and last.
Okay, so did it start in 2006? Yeah. All right, so 4, so that's what, 2011, roughly. And then have they been doing audiobooks since 2011?
They only started doing the audios about 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's pretty recent.
2 years ago, so. Okay, so
roughly.
Yeah,
they got the rights when they got the rights to some of the new Doctor Who series.
And I don't even know if the comic books are still continuing. I know they did have comic books, or graphic novels, excuse me, not comic books, graphic novels of Torchwood. So that would basically be about 8 years, wouldn't it? Roughly, very roughly. So who knows if there's
10.
Okay, I apologize.
In fact, they had the Torch. Well, it's 11 now, but they had the 10th-year anniversary while they were recording this. They mentioned it in the extras.
Oh, okay. All right. So, in other words, depending on whether Big Finish is going to keep the license, and I don't know if they have it for 2 to 8 years or whichever it is, then they could continue it.
Or, well, I think Miracle Gay proved that they're never going to put it back on TV.
Yes, sadly. That had potential in the plot, and maybe the
that was the nail in the
writing was bad. Yeah, the writing was horrible.
But so the new series of Torchwood audio series, it's in 4 parts, 4 box sets, and I think the next box set's out this month or next month.
So series or season 5 is 4 box sets, or is it just one?
So I'll show you it. If I can get it there. Can you see that? There it is. Aliens Among Us. That's the new team on the cover.
Cool.
And there's four stories there, and it's going to be four volumes, like they did with the War Doctor sort of thing.
Very cool. All right. Well, let's rate this one, and then I have to go to work listening to the rest of the new series 5, apparently. Anyway, that's, I guess, the whole point of these podcasts is to just give impetus towards more and more adventures and more stories.
Oh yes.
So let's start with Beef Dad. What did you think of Corpse Day, and your final say, and then rate it?
I enjoyed it. It's, as you say, it's dark with some comic relief in it. I like the story. And the acting was just absolutely brilliant. Even the girls saying sorry all the time. Very clever. And Bern Gorman was brilliant in it, absolutely brilliant. The man deserves a little gold statue for this. Yeah, so for me, yeah, I'd give this a 10 actually.
Thank you kindly. Tim, what did you think of this? And rate it, please.
Well, I enjoyed it very much, but I don't think I would give it a 10. I'm not that enthusiastic. But I'll give it a good 8.5. It was a worthy listen. I think it could have been tightened up and maybe a little better. That again, that has nothing to do with the acting or even the writing. The writing was brilliant. Goss is always good, but yeah, I'd give it an 8.5.
Thank you. Alex, what would you give Corpse Day?
I'll give it an 8, being a little bit generous. It did creep me out a little bit. I didn't like all this yelling and screaming, but as usual, science fiction can copy themes and talk about themes that in any other medium would be either a horror story, and that also works, or a true crime story, and unfortunately that also works. But yeah, it's I've had the similar theme like the Triffids and V, the original, and the new version with the lizards that are eating rats and disguised as humans and all that. But considering the audio, they did a very good job. Just wasn't that pleasant a story to listen to, but it was a good story.
Thank you. And Lee, what did you think of Corpse Day? And please give it a rating.
The more unpleasant it is to listen to, the more I like stuff like that. So yeah, Ben Gorman, brilliant. As I say, I can't see anybody else being the lead character in this story. Also, you've got to give a big thumbs up to Tom Price, who plays PC Andy. He's always been on top form, and him teamed up with Owen Harper. It was just a brilliant duo. I loved it. I loved the scariness of it. I loved the funny side of it. And for people who have listened to it, they'll get my score. I'm going to give it 10 tins of dog meat out of 10.
Oh, jeez. Whoa. Oh, dear. That part was gruesome. Oh, man. But anyway, I will give it, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I enjoy Torchwood. I really do. I enjoy the whole darkness and rawness of it, and the fact that they talk about sexual themes and sort of that sort of racy stuff. And more than Doctor Who, and definitely like more than any of the other spin-offs to date. So and in a more real way than Class did, because Class was teenagers and stuff. So I really enjoyed that part of it anyway. So I'll give it a 9 out of 10. And thanks all for listening. Please feel free to subscribe to our channel and share this widely, and definitely feed your people real food, and don't kidnap nobody, and make sure that your weevils stay on the other side of the rift. And leave a comment below and give us a like or a thumbs up or
She's getting there. She's getting there.
Yeah. So thanks very much for listening to Audio Heads. See you in a fortnight. Bye-bye.